These kittens were rescued, but a few days later, their rescuers got a surprising call. For one cat family, life was off to a rough start. Living in an old, beaten-up washing machine, they were thankfully rescued at just the right time. Of course, that would only be the beginning of their adventure. You won't believe this amazing and perfect story about a mother cat and her kittens. Before we begin, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for daily amazing videos. It was just another day at the florist for one worker who was tending to the garden behind the business located in Edgware, UK. While trying to gather new perennials for inside the store, the employee stumbled upon something she never would have expected. Let's just say the meows coming from the corner of the garden were a little out of the ordinary. In one corner of the garden was a washing machine that had somehow withstood the test of time. No longer in working condition, the weeds and trees had reclaimed the hollowed-out shell from Mother Nature. Even more interesting, a pregnant cat had decided to make the washing machine her home so she could give birth to her litter of kittens. Unfortunately for her, the little home she had created was about to be discovered. When the worker heard movement in the washing machine, she looked inside and discovered 4 little kittens. With the feral mother nowhere in sight, the florist decided to call the Mayhew Animal Home, a local animal shelter where the kittens would be safe. But the big question remained, where was the mother? The florist didn't believe the mother cat could be caught due to her living in the wild for so long. She figured with the cat not being domesticated, the last thing it would want would be to be picked up. Only time would tell if the mother would return. The workers from the shelter quickly arrived and scooped up the 4 kittens to take back to the shelter. They also made sure to check the nearby structures just to be sure no kittens were missing. Back at the animal home, the kittens were given a thorough examination and proclaimed healthy. These kitties were very lucky indeed. So what about the mother cat? Well, according to Tanya Mazzoni, the shelter's director, they knew it would be impossible to adopt her due to her being feral. Therefore, they left a trap out for her. Thankfully, she was quickly caught and given a checkup before being spayed and returned to where she'd been picked up. This was the method used for the shelter's Trap, Neuter, and Return program. The Trap, Neuter, and Return program was started in 1996 as a way to help reduce the number of feral cats on the streets of London. The program worked perfectly for the mother cat because she could return to the streets that were familiar to her, but there was no risk of any more kittens in the future. One of the main questions asked by the workers at the florist is why the cat would have given birth in an old washing machine. Mazzoni believes that the feral felines look for hidden spots so they can keep their kittens protected. It's actually quite common for domestic cats to give birth in washing machines, as it's likely a private cubbyhole for them, she said. Due to this fact, the rescue warned citizens to check their machines and any that have been junked before removing them. You never know what could possibly be hiding inside. Back at the shelter, the 4 kittens were showered with love and care. They were named Daz, Ariel, Purcell, and Surf, and soon became quite popular with the shelter staff. Can you blame them? Look how adorable they are. As the kittens were adjusting to their new life outside of a washing machine, the animal shelter received a call one day they never expected. Apparently, a 5th kitten had been found. But was it okay? It had been away from its siblings for quite some time. To say they were surprised would be an understatement, especially with how thorough they were searching the grounds the last time they were out there. Immediately, the volunteers got together to replay their rescue. What could they have missed? After going over the afternoon and the rescue in detail, everything seemed to be in order. No one had done anything out of the ordinary, and it was determined the place had been thoroughly searched. Regardless, a 5th kitten was alive, and that was all that mattered. Despite the goodness, the rescuers couldn't help but feel panic over the kitten's overall health and regret that they'd taken its entire family away. Can you imagine how frightened the little one must have been? The workers at the animal shelter were shocked that the little kitten had survived on its own. They couldn't imagine how terrified it must have been with its entire family gone. Yet, somehow, he'd beaten the odds and managed to survive. Mazzoni had this to say regarding the situation. We were shocked when we received the call from the florist saying they'd found another kitten, but we were so glad that she was okay. Even better, the kitten was found to be in completely great health. She had some serious spunk. The volunteers drove back to the site of the original rescue and were so happy to see the kitten doing just fine. Now they needed to think of a name. The new addition to the kitten family was named Fairy, and she was more than happy to be reunited with her brothers and sisters. Now she could live comfy and cozy with the other kittens where it was safe and warm. After a few weeks at the shelter, the kittens received all of their vaccinations and were fixed so they couldn't one day escape and make their own little kitten families. The only thing left for these babies was to find them some foster homes. Next stop will be foster care, where the kittens would hopefully one day become adopted into their forever homes. We have to say, these are 5 lucky little furballs. Unfortunately, more animals continue to be dropped off at animal shelters in the United States at a record rate. In the US, approximately 6.5 million companion animals are dropped off at animal shelters across the nation every single year. This is roughly divided between dogs and cats, 3.3 million versus 3.2 million. Thankfully, these numbers have started to decline in the past 5 years. One sad fact is over 1.5 million animals in shelters are euthanized every single year. While these numbers are down from past years, it's still 1.5 million too many. As backyard breeders continue to fuel the puppy mill rings, the shelters continue to be filled with unwanted pets. This is why rescue organizations are so important, and adopting should always come before buying. Thankfully, the adoption rates are up, and over 3 million shelter animals are adopted every single year. It warms our hearts knowing these fur babies aren't left in the dark and abandoned. Adopting is one of the most fulfilling things you can do. Just like the 5 sweet kittens that were rescued, there are so many other cats and dogs waiting for their forever homes. If you're looking to add a new friend to your household, adopt. We promise your life will change forever in one of the best ways possible.